Joining us over Zoom is our security expert we often speak with, Manny, who also served in law enforcement, both with the NYPD and the FBI. Manny, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. From your perspective and expertise, tell us, first of all, just about the presence of the security around that building. We've heard, from the mayor and the police commissioner talking about 35,000. All of them will be at the ready in uniform. What's your read on what's going on now?
Well, this is something that has been anticipated, expected, and prepared for weeks. And they've done dry runs, they've done rehearsals, up to and including the motorcade coming in and which door he's going to come in, what elevator, or what halls, etc. So this is something that has been highly anticipated and highly expected. So they have everything covered. They have 35,000 uniformed police officers on standby just in case some mishap were to happen. But before that, they did the homework of the intelligence of finding out, is there a possible threat? And there is no active threat that we know of.
Marsha Kramer's here with us too, Manny.
Hey, Manny, my question to you is this. There are a lot of protesters outside on both sides, people who support the president, people who don't. What's the biggest concern for the NYPD, the FBI, and the Secret Service with those protesters?
Well, the great question, Marsha. They have to balance their First Amendment rights to demonstrate, to protest, to voice their opinion pro or against this situation or against the former president, while at the same time trying to keep the peace and, most important of all, avoid any and all aggressiveness or violence like we saw on January 6th. And that's the main goal. And that's why there's such a show of force, and that's why they put in the homework that they did for the public to be able to demonstrate and at the same time stop the violence and send out a message that it won't be tolerated.
Well, one thing that we didn't see is a large uniformed presence mingling with the protesters. During the George Floyd protest, there were a lot of uniformed cops that were accused of what we call kettling. We're not seeing that now, so does it appear to you that the NYPD has revised their procedures for dealing with protesters?
Well, two things, Marsha. One is this is a different administration. The former administration was pro-protesting and demonstrating, et cetera. This administration has already said they're not going to tolerate any violence or aggressive behavior, coupled by the fact that they learned, the NYPD and other law enforcement agencies have learned from the former protests that we had a couple of years ago, and they adjust.
I felt just watching the motorcade from LaGuardia to Fifth Avenue. And yes, of course, police patrol, traffic patrol was ahead of the motorcade, but it went so smoothly. That too just seemed like, as far as a reflection of what's going on, the good planning and the control that the NYPD has on this situation, which is so unique.
Absolutely. We have to keep in mind that the NYPD in the city of New York is used to extraordinary events like this. We have the UN General Assembly that happens yearly where over 200 heads of state come in. And yes, it's a traffic jam for the city, but the NYPD and other federal and state agencies are able to manage that year in and year in, year out. And we have the end of year fireworks display of the 4th of July. We have the end of year event, which hundreds of thousands of people attend. So the NYPD and other local, state, and federal agencies are used to things like this. Keep in mind, we had El Chapo, which was arguably one of the most dangerous men on the planet, and we were able to successfully move him from Manhattan to Brooklyn Federal Court whenever he had to go. We closed the Brooklyn Bridge. We did numerous other things behind the scenes in order to ensure that nothing bad would happen. And that happened seamlessly. Yes, there was traffic and inconvenience some people getting around. But at the end of the day, it was a non-event. And that was a big one, to be able to undertake that. So we're fortunate to have the greatest police department on earth, and they're able to do this well.
We are looking, we have a camera in the hallway outside the courtroom in the Manhattan Criminal Court building. And, you know, Manny, along the way, we've heard from the mayor and the police commissioner saying there's no credible threat of something big. But what about that lone wolf person who's at home watching? And how is that detected? Of course, they're always looking on social media for things. Police.
Agreed. I mean, this is something that anything could happen spontaneously, and anything could happen at any time. That being said, they are anticipating and expecting something that may happen, and that's why they have such an incredible show of force out there, and they have planned for the unexpected. So if there is a lone wolf or something of that nature, they are. I'll tell you, I looked outside just a half hour ago when the motorcade was coming down. I counted 5 NYPD aviation helicopters moving along that the FDR Drive on both the Queens side and the Manhattan side. That's something that I personally have never witnessed before. That's a show of force. That's a show of saying, hey, we've got this. And I'm sure once this is over and he gets back on his plane, Trump that is, and he goes back to Florida, everybody will have a sigh of relief.
That is for sure. Manny Gomez, thank you for joining us with your expertise on security with NYPD and FBI perspective. We appreciate it. Thank you.